What's up, everybody? PSA here from your friends at Franchise Tag Fantasy Football Podcast. We are doing a redraft league. We're kicking the best ball out the door. It's going to be a 12-team, half point per reception, 6 point per passing touchdown. So get your quarterbacks ready. We're putting 2 flexes in and getting rid of the kicker because we don't like kickers, so we're giving an extra flex spot. And better yet, the first place winner gets a $50 Visa gift card. Ray, tell them how to enter.
All right, so first things first, guys. You're going to have to hit that subscribe button. We're going to need to see those subscriptions go up. Secondly, if you want to get in this league, you have to comment on each one of these PSAs that you're going to see on each one of the episodes that comes out. The closing date on that is going to be August 10th, and we're going to decide off of a raffle out of those comments who's going to be in the league. So make sure that you hit that comment because that's how we're going to know you guys want to be in the league. And like Aaron said, a $50 gift card to the winner. Free for you guys.
For sure. For sure, guys. Free to enter. All you got to do is literally leave a comment on the YouTube video for your chance to win $50. And you might meet some really cool people with the redraft league and be able to start your own leagues next year. All right, guys. So enjoy the episode. What's up, everybody? It's Aaron and Ray here with Franchise Tag Fantasy Football Podcast. We are back in it with wide receiver rankings this week. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you know when videos like this are coming live. As I said, we are doing the wide receiver rankings today. Running backs came out last week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. So how's it going, Ray?
Feels pretty good. Hey, Aaron, let me ask you something.
Hey, Ray. Okay.
We just found out, me and Leandra just found out what Olivia is afraid of the most. We just found out.
Which is?
It's wild because she's afraid of nothing. It sucks, really. It's this stupid dinosaur that was bought for Miles when he was born. It's like a stuffed animal dinosaur, but she's terrified of it. And like whenever she climbs up on the tables, we always scare her with it, try to get her off the table. Because she isn't afraid of anything else. She doesn't care if we yell at her or nothing like that. But it made me think about something. I'm like, what is Aaron afraid of? What is the number one thing that you're afraid of?
Snakes.
Snakes?
I can't do
That's
snakes.
Wild.
I can do everything else but snakes. I cannot do snakes. For some reason, something that's like 4 foot and can strike the double its body length, so up to 8 foot, and sometimes it's venomous and could kill you. Like, I'm just out on that,
crazy.
Bro.
I'd have never guessed.
I'm out on snakes, dude. 100%. I'm out.
I had a snake in my backyard the other day. I literally picked it up and threw it across the yard.
Like, people are always like, oh yeah, we got little garden snakes and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, no, I'm out. And like, people have like ball pythons and stuff as like pets. I'm like, we done,
That's
fam.
Nuts.
We done, fam.
Really?
Yeah. We out.
Huh.
Your boy ain't coming in the house if you got a pet snake. I'm telling you that right now.
You know what something really freaks me out? It's like really, really, really deep water.
Really?
That freaks me out. Yeah.
Why?
Like, I remember when I was like doing this like parasailing thing, we went out to Catalina, and
wine mixer.
Yeah, I guess it's the same thing. It's actually the same place. We came into the water, and I see all this kelp. Like we hit in the water, we look down. I was maybe like 15 or something like that. Look down, and all I see is kelp all the way to where I can't see anything anymore. I'm like, that is the creepiest, weirdest thing. And it still to this day, I think about it. I'm like, that's so. Ugh.
Why? Like, what freaks you out about it?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Every time I think about it, though, I'm like, bleh. Maybe because it's like, what the hell is down there? Who knows?
Could be.
Who knows?
I mean,
and that and like walking in front of a mirror when it's dark. To this day, a 32-year-old man, to this day, freaks me out every time.
Stop it.
I swear to God.
That is funny.
One of my like cousins, that wasn't my cousin, but was my cousin, I don't know, like a family friend, she did Bloody Mary when we were little. And since then, it's freaked me out to this day. Like I don't like closing my eyes in the shower. I don't like doing that. I'll burn my eyeballs out.
I'm out on that one. I'm out on Ouija boards. I'm out on snakes.
You did a Ouija board too, but like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, think about that right now. I'm like,
so have you heard of the video game Phasmophobia?
No.
You're literally a ghost hunter, right? And you can like find a Ouija board and talk to ghosts, and there's like all sorts of different spirits and stuff that you like are supposed to go find and figure out what it is. I think that game would freak you out then. Really? Especially if you were to play by yourself and have all the lights off and nothing but the TV on. Dude, you would get freaked out. It'd be fun. But anyways, yeah, snakes are my super Big Fear, and then for you it would be Deep Water. I mean, that makes sense.
Really weird thing. I don't know. I think about it. Just like, not even like freaks me out. Just like, why is that allowed? That's gross.
I mean, because it's the Earth and there's deep water. That's why it's allowed. That's why it's there. But
like
anyways,
super deep water. Let us know what you guys. Let us know what freaks you guys out in the comments. Let me know.
You ready to jump into this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, wide receiver rankings. So for the number 1 overall wide receiver in my rankings, Davante Adams. Pending Aaron Rodgers playing, he will finish as the number 1 wide receiver.
I think that everybody here could kind of guess what my number 1 is going to be, but it is AJ Brown, baby. It's AJ Brown season. AJ Brown.
So go ahead and explain, because a lot of people are going to be like, what the heck?
What is this guy?
I'm like, what the heck?
Right now?
Yeah,
what is he smoking?
And I'm the one who doesn't know anything about football, Matt.
True. Hey, Matt, you still watching? Hey, so AJ Brown's going to finish the number 1 because he had to do it all by his lonesome last season. All by his lonesome. He's taking on double and triple coverages and still dominating. Now, if you're going to add in the added effect of having a Julio Jones on the other side of the field, you're not allowed to double cover AJ Brown anymore. He's going to have a lot more single coverages.
That's fair.
Tell me that doesn't make sense, right? Now you're going to add in another week where he's going to have more receptions, he's going to have more touchdowns, and I'm all in on AJ Brown. Julio Jones didn't come in and hurt him. Julio Jones helped him. Mark my words. Remember.
I just don't. Okay. I mean, oof. Oof. Big oof. All right.
And yes, Aaron, this is because I've been saying it, so I have to own it. This is exactly why.
So you don't actually believe it? You're just kind of...
I believe it because I own it. I believe it.
Okay. All right. Number 2, I have Tyreek Hill. I'm just going to get off that train quick. I have Tyreek Hill at number 2.
I have Davante Adams.
Tyreek Hill's finished... both of these guys have finished top 3 the last, 3 or 4 seasons in a row?
3.
So, yeah, I think Tyreek Hill, these guys are interchangeable to me. This is my tier 1 receivers. These are the 2 in tier 1. However, tier 2 wide receivers, I could also see them finishing at 1. There's literally only like a 1.02 something point difference in my stat ad out. Difference between 3rd and 1 per game, which isn't a lot. You know what I mean? It's 2 receptions when you think about it. But yeah, anyways, that's my number 2 is Tyreek. You have Davante at number 2 by default because you had to list AJ Brown at number 1.
Because I believe it, yes.
All right, man. Okay, I'm gonna make you ride this ship for this whole episode.
I'm 100% in.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so number 3 for you, Ray.
Stephon Diggs.
I also have Stephon Diggs at number 3. I could see him finishing as number 1 because obviously, what was it, 1,400 yards receiving last year?
And 120 something receptions.
Yeah, hyper targeted, a lot of receptions. Touchdowns were a little low though. That's if his touchdown total came up a little bit. That's where I could see him finishing at number 1. They didn't do anything to help the run game, so
they didn't really add any pieces in that receiving room that I really care about either. Like, is Emmanuel Sanders going to take away work from Stephon Diggs? No. Does Cole Beasley eat into his work? No. Did they?
We saw it last year. We saw it last year with Cole Beasley. I do want to bring that up because I do think Cole Beasley is a sneaky player to pick up in, like, say, a best ball league or daily fantasy.
A full point.
Yeah, a full point or daily fantasy later in drafts because he didn't eat into Stephon Diggs' work, but there were weeks last year where Cole Beasley was really viable, and he's kind of who he looks to on, 3rd down and short because they don't run the football. They look at Cole Beasley on the through the middle under routes to just behind linebackers but in front of the safeties.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
who do you got number 4?
Number 4, I have DeAndre Hopkins. Who do you have?
I have Tyreek Hill.
Do you? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously, I gotta remember everything should go 1 up because of AJ Brown for you.
Basically, yeah.
So Tyreek Hill, I mean, that's not bad. I can see that. I mean,
and it's not a slight against him. 3. It's just he could be number 2. Who knows? Really? But he's not going to be number 1 because A.J. Brown already took that spot. Like the season ended already. A.J. Brown finished number 1. You guys can put that in the books, send it to the bank. It's happening.
Okay. So I know I've been talking about Kyler Murray in the offseason. I do think Kyler Murray is a good quarterback. I just think that they throw too much for his body to keep up with, if that makes sense. I think it took an adjustment for his shoulder. But DeAndre Hopkins in that offense obviously is the clear-cut number 1. AJ Green's not going to do anything. And we've already established that they don't really have a number 2 kind of in the works. You know what I mean? You think AJ Green's going to be the number 2, and if AJ Green is the number 2, they don't have a number 2. So I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be in the role that he was in Houston, the role that he was in last year, the Stephon Diggs role of last year, where he's just hyper-targeted, and the dude's good. You saw him catch a touchdown pass last year between 5 Buffalo defenders. Like, he's going to get his. He's one of the best receivers in the league and has been one of the best receivers in the league for a long time now.
Yeah, exactly. My number 5 is DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, so would that be like
the same listed things?
Would that be your like tier 1 and 2 receivers, or straight up tier 1?
He's my tier 2. He's the beginning of my tier 2.
Okay, so I have Stephon Diggs and DeAndre in tier 2 for me. So I'm going in at number 5 on tier 3 here. Okay. These would be my third tiers of wide receiver, and at number 5 I have Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
And I have Calvin Ridley for the sheer fact of Julio is now gone. We saw it last year when Julio wasn't on the field that Calvin Ridley took an uptick in targets, uptick in catches, uptick in yards, uptick all the way around. And now he's going to have a whole season where it's basically going to be Calvin Ridley and potentially Kyle Pitts. So I think once again,
and Russell Gage.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to be that big of a thing. But I see it as another hyper-targeted, forced to be peppered with targets, so forced to catch the football. And Calvin Ridley is good, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And just from sheer volume of him getting that much workload is where he kind of gets up the list for me.
I can agree with all that, and he's pretty high in my rankings too, but he's not number 5.
Okay, and then, so at number 6, who do you have? Justin
Jefferson.
Hey, look at us in line. I have Justin Jefferson at number 6 as well. I do think that he is going to be good. I mean, that's all there is to it. Like, he's going to be good.
I think Justin Jefferson is going to be good. He's going to be good.
I was trying to think, like, last year, yeah, he broke the rookie record, like Randy Moss's rookie record. But, like, I mean, that's who it is. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what we're going to see. The one thing I will say about Justin Jefferson is I'm tired of seeing Vikings fans already throwing him in, like, the best wide receiver in the NFL type stuff. Like, oh, look at him go. Look at him. Like, bro, you had one season. Chill out, Vikings fans. I know you don't have much to be happy about, but come on.
I'm just going to say that what we saw from Justin Jefferson last season, you're going to see more of that, but a more efficient version of that. As I said when we were talking about our breakdown videos and whatnot, and the draft video, we talked about some in there too. Justin Jefferson was a lot more inefficient with the reception, the targets that he had got. And throughout history, when you're a rookie receiver, your efficiency on those targets tends to be low, but goes up over time. If those targets stay the same, which I think they will,
because
they didn't do anything necessarily to
supplant him. He literally just filled in the Stephon Diggs role.
Yeah, they didn't do anything in the offseason to make me think that there's any work that's going to go anywhere else. It's all basically going to stay the same. Maybe Irv Smith does a little more, but no thanks. I'm not going to buy into that. Pass. Justin Jefferson, yeah, he's going to be good. He's going to be good.
I mean, there's really not much to, like, I mean, I know, like, you're poking fun at me, but there's really not much to say. He's going to be good. But as you said, like, the targets aren't going to change. I think it's going to stay the same, but he's just going to be more efficient with his targets.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think that when I said that he could finish as a top 5 receiver, that's why. It's because of the efficiency. If it goes up at all, you're going to see him shoot up some boards. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I was going with it.
Yeah, I feel that. So number 7 for me, I have Ray's number 1. I have
Ooh.
AJ Brown at 7.
Ooh.
And like I explained in the running back show, before you get mad at me for all this stuff and hating on AJ Brown, I'm not hating on AJ Brown. This is just the statistical, safe, in the middle of the road, like possibly the floor, but more along the middle of in the middle of floor and ceiling, like safe statistical stats that I have of these guys. It's not like, this is his ceiling. No, this is kind of in the middle between his floor and his ceiling. Floor for AJ Brown, I think, is wide receiver 12. Ceiling for AJ Brown, I think, is wide receiver 4.
So let me get this straight. We're not gonna dig into any more of this, except for you think there is not a parallel universe where AJ Brown can finish as the receiver 1.
No.
We have that bet somewhere. I know it's somewhere in my broken phone.
Well, as long as you can transfer those over when you get a new one, we'll be good. But no, I mean, he's, as you said, you can't double cover him, right? But Derrick Henry's still going to get his. Julio Jones is still going to get his. Julio Jones is going to demand targets. I know he's older, but he's going to demand targets. And with that being said, yeah, Corey Davis is leaving 95 targets out there on the field. Okay, so Julio Jones automatically absorbs those. But guess what? Instead of the 60 catches that Corey Davis had, you're going to look at 110 targets for Julio, because I think Anthony Ferguson is going to get some taken away from him at the tight end position. And you're looking at Julio getting 110 targets with 85 receptions. So that's another 20 receptions. So you're going to demand targets for a player like Julio Jones.
I can get behind that, I guess, but not really, because AJ Brown's going to finish number 1. My number 7 is Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
And I have him ranked underneath Justin Jefferson only because, yeah, he's the only show in town. But yeah, he's the only show in town. And it's a show that is ran by Matt Ryan, and I don't want that, because Matt Ryan sucks.
But does Matt Ryan actually suck? Because he's made Julio Jones relevant every year.
Has he made Julio Jones relevant?
He's made Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. He's gotten them their points the last 2 years.
But has he made Julio Jones relevant, or did Julio Jones make him relevant?
Is Matt Ryan a average quarterback? Yes, but he's better than Kirk Cousins in my eyes.
Ooh. I can't wait to do the quarterback rankings. Let's keep it pushing.
Oh, I lied. I lied. They're dead even. I looked over at my rankings.
Backtracking already. Hey,
anyways, so
that's what I want to see. I want to see what the listener has to say about that. So if you could put it in the comments, who you guys think is going to finish higher, Justin Jefferson or Calvin Ridley? I want to hear what you guys say, because I think that's a tier break for me.
Is it? Okay, so for me, the tier 3 wide receivers I have: 5 Calvin Ridley, 6 Justin Jefferson, 7 AJ Brown. 259 points, 253 points, 250 points. Less than a point a game. You see what I'm saying? See how it breaks down like that, where I'm saying that? I just have them finishing, like, they're really, really close.
Yeah.
That seems like, oh, you have him at 7, but I think he's going to be a 5. Well, guess what, dude? 2 receptions and 20 yards on the season puts him at 5 instead of 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just like to be right sometimes, I like to get my wins when I can.
I feel that. So yeah, after AJ Brown at 7 for me, we have a tier break. So at number 8, who do you have?
DK Metcalf.
Okay. I have Michael Thomas at number 8.
Ooh.
I think he's going to return really good value on it this year. No matter what happens, he's going to be hyper targeted in that offense, no matter who's the quarterback. Michael Thomas is a safe play for me in that offense.
As the resident Michael Thomas truther, we already talked about who I thought, or how I thought that offense is going to break down in our running back video. If it's at all like what I said it was, Michael Thomas is going to be a little less efficient than I think is going to be necessary.
The slant man is going to get targeted.
Slant boy.
Oh, excuse me, slant boy. He's going to get targeted on slants, right? That's what he runs. Realistically, he's still going to be good. he's still going to get his, like I said, no matter who the quarterback is. Who's the number one option in that offense at receiver? This is the first read.
It's going to be Michael Thomas or Alvin Kamara.
First read? You think first read is going to be a running back?
Could.
Out of the backfield?
Could.
Okay. You've got a lot less faith in New Orleans than I do. It's like you said.
I'm saying, I think that it could either be Michael Thomas or Alvin Kamara.
That's what I'm saying, but you've got no faith in Sean Payton. As you said last episode, he is an innovator on the offensive side of the football. He wants to do stuff. So I do believe that Michael Thomas is going to finish top 10, top 12.
Okay.
But like you said, to be, he'll be the number one read, like I'm talking about. Basically, essentially what I'm saying. And you're getting him, he's going wide receiver like 14, 15 off the board?
Middle of the third is the earliest I've seen.
Yeah. So I think you're going to end up getting good value on him. At number 8, you said you had DK, right?
Yes.
I'm not mad at that. Number 9?
Terry McLaurin.
Let me pause for a minute. Go ahead and talk.
So Terry McLaurin has gotten it done year in, year out, for 2 years, with literally a bag of buns behind center. Literally. A slew of dudes that just are not good at the position of quarterback. Or not. Now he's finally got a little bit of competency behind that damn line. Let me tell you, it's going to pan out for Terry McLaurin.
Is it, though?
Yes.
All right. So number 9 for me after that is DK Metcalf for me. He's going to finish around this position he did last year. You might not like the consistency throughout the season because we're going to see it. It's happened in Seattle, it seems like every season. Russ and the receivers start off hot. Then at the back half of the year, the consistency goes down. So he will finish at 9, around 9, but you're not going to like how he gets there for the most part, I feel like.
What Aaron's saying, I think, and what's more important, not necessarily what you're saying, but what's more important to remember is, yes, DK is going to be inconsistent.
Yep.
It's going to happen because that's just the way that Seattle's offense is inconsistent. But if you couple him in your drafts with somebody that's more stable, like a Robert Woods at running back 2, you're going to be okay. It's going to happen.
You mean wide receiver? Okay.
What's that?
You said running back 2, but you meant wide receiver 2.
I meant receiver. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I meant receiver.
You're good. I just know people like to call us out on our stuff, so I'd like to keep you true. But yes, that's exactly what I'm saying is DK is the weeks he hits, man, is going to be like last year. He's going to hit and probably be a week winner for you. But he's going to have the inconsistent games where you do need a good, stable running back 2 and possibly even a flex option to help you get through those weeks. If you can ride that ship and sail the storm and get through it, you're going to be good. But you know what I mean? I just want to preface it by saying that if you do take a guy like DK Metcalf, or maybe more inconsistency that you would like as a premium position that you have, remember that you need to couple that with something that's more consistent. Hear me out on this. In most drafts, you're seeing DK go at like middle of the second. Like I think it's wide receiver 6 is the average draft position.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at it.
Back in second.
You need to turn around and look in the back of the 3rd or in the 4th round at like an Allen Robinson or an Amari Cooper, because these guys are falling there. Or an Amari Cooper, as you said, Robert Woods, potentially an Adam Thielen, potentially Cooper Kupp, someone like that who's going to be a little more consistent floor each week.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was 9.
Who do you got?
Number 10. I have who I just spoke about, Allen Robinson.
Okay.
Everyone's going to be like, ooh, that's gross. Ooh, that's nasty. Allen Robinson has consistently finished at either 12 or better, wide receiver 12 or better, with Blake Bortles, with Mitch Trubisky, and the Nick Foles experience. Now they have Andy Dalton, who, don't get me wrong, is probably just a little bit of an upgrade. But if Justin Fields comes on the field, that will probably be the best, as you've said before, the best quarterback that he's ever played the NFL football with.
You want to talk about the hype train starting? Let me tell you.
And no one ever thinks about it when they draft Allen Robinson. They're like, oh yeah, he's normally drafted as a wide receiver 2, but he always finishes as a wide receiver 1.
Which is good value.
It is good value. And he is basically all of Chicago's offense, realistically.
From where he's falling in each one of our mock drafts, you're looking at him at around the 4th round.
Yeah, we just talked about it. Literally, just a minute ago. He's in the middle of the 4th, back end of the 3rd to middle of the 4th. If you're somewhere in there, you can get him. So that's who I have at 10. Who do you have at 10?
I got Keenan Allen at 10.
Okay, I'm not mad at that at all.
I got Keenan Allen at 10 because Justin Sherbet is the real deal. And they just hyper-target him. So
I hate that you call him Sherbet.
Number 10.
At number 11.
That's where I have Allen Robinson.
And that's where I have Keenan Allen. So we're just flip-flopped. And
Weird.
for me that's only a 3-point difference on the season. So I mean, it's not like it's a whole lot. Like I said, they're flip-flopped. And to put in perspective, from Michael Thomas at number 8 to Allen Robinson at number 10, that's a 9-point difference for me. So see how kind of if I keep harping on it, because people are gonna be like, oh, well, you have this person here and I have this person here. It's not by very many points, guys.
I will say that
Sir?
Allen Robinson is, I think, maybe a little safer.
Then
I
Keenan
think he's a
Allen?
little safer. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think he's a little safer.
I can see that.
Because Keenan Allen does have a small injury list that kind of makes you think like, oh, hold on, maybe he might not be on the field the whole season. Whereas Allen Robinson's only missed 1 season. Granted, it was through an ACL. But outside of that, like, he hasn't missed any time. So that's the only reason I would say that Allen Robinson's a little safer.
Not to mention that this year, I know it's not like crazy, but Allen Robinson is playing on the franchise tag this year. So I think that he's going to do everything that he could possibly do to show that he is a good wide receiver. And next year, when the cap actually does go back up, he's probably not in Chicago in 2022, and he's probably a number 1 on a different team with a better quarterback for more money.
Maybe with a better quarterback, maybe.
You don't think for more money?
For more money, yes, but with a better quarterback, maybe.
That's true, because if Justin Fields starts, I feel like he's already in the middle of the pack. Anyways,
kind of where I was getting to.
So who wraps out your wide receiver 1s at number 12 for you?
Amari Cooper.
Boy, howdy, we're dead on line. Amari
The
Cooper's number 12
disrespect for
me.
Amari Cooper is just insane. I understand he's inconsistent. I get it. But when he is consistent, when he does deliver, he is a week winner every time he delivers.
I think this is a CeeDee Lamb problem, to be honest with you.
Yes.
That's legitimately what I think. And I'm sure CeeDee's in both of our top 24, and we'll get to him. But yeah, I think this is more of a CeeDee Lamb problem where CeeDee and Amari Cooper are going like back to back in most drafts. And sometimes, majority of the time now, we're seeing CeeDee go in front of Amari Cooper. Everyone kind of forgets Amari Cooper is the number 1 in that offense.
They're paying the man $100 million. They ain't paying him for no reason.
It's another Allen Robinson, honestly. That's what it is. Just not as consistent as Allen Robinson.
I don't know. It's crazy to me that so many people are so disrespectful on the Amari Cooper train.
We both have Amari Cooper at number 12. So number 13, I'm going to go here. This is where I have Terry McLaurin. Okay. I can see him finishing higher than that, but this is where I've got him statted for right now.
Okay.
And yeah, he's 2 points behind Amari Cooper for me, so he could easily finish in that number 12. They're pretty much flip-floppable. But this is where I have Terry McLaurin.
Did you say flip-floppable?
Flip-floppable.
Flip-floppable. Yeah. That's kind of funny you say that. Number 13 for me is Michael Thomas.
Okay.
And I'm the biggest Michael Thomas truther that has ever been. It's been me.
He scored a lot of people last year.
You're telling me.
Uh-huh. You said you have a signed jersey?
I have a signed jersey somewhere in here.
Yeah, I have the signed mini helmet. As you can see, it's right there.
I also have a helmet
my Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
So, for the inconsistencies that I was referring to in the mentioning of the quarterback room that they're going to have in our running back rankings, I'm going to say it again. I think that it's going to be a hodgepodge of both Taysom Hill and of Jameis Winston that's going to kind of hurt both Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara's floors, because I think that Taysom is going to probably hyper target Michael Thomas a lot more than what Jameis would. Whereas I think Jameis is going to probably check down a lot more than you think he's going to do. I'm only saying that because I think Sean Payton's going to stop him from trying to throw the ball as much down the field as possible.
I don't know, man. I mean, when your number one receiver really only runs slants, you're not going to have to throw the ball very far. So
it's just, I guess it's maybe a hot take. You can say that.
No, I mean, I can definitely see the route to where he gets there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, how does Sean Payton stop Jameis Winston from losing them games? How does he do it? Well, he draws up game plans where he has to check down the ball a lot more to Alvin Kamara. He draws up plays where he's only dumping the ball off 5 yards to Michael Thomas. Whereas Taysom Hill, you already saw that he hyper targets Michael Thomas. You already saw it. So that's where he's going to get his volume at. It's such a muddy situation that I think that's what hurts Michael Thomas in general.
Yeah. And like we've talked about, well, like I talked about in the running back rankings, like these are our initial come out rankings to you guys. Everything's going to change. When the season gets closer, some dudes might rise, some dudes might fall. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not like these are set in stone. These aren't ever changing. You know what I mean?
Except for AJ Brown.
Except for AJ Brown and Ray. But you know, this is just the initial rankings, kind of where we see. But I could see, you know, if that's where he finishes. I'm not saying there's not a path to get there.
Yeah.
But I just believe he'll finish higher than that. You know what I mean? So at 14,
Mike Evans.
That's who I have at 14 as well.
Funny.
And before we started the show, I was like, hold on, I don't really like the way this looks. And I flipped him to Terry Mclaurin. So at 14, I have Mike Evans. You have Mike Evans. He's been, the last 6 years, over 1,000 yards receiving in the last 6 years. He did it with Tom Brady last year, even with the 2 for 4 yards and 2 touchdown game that he had last year. Still got over 1,000. I think that starts to get pushed now because he barely made it over 1,000 this past season. It was like 1,036 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like really barely over 1,000 yards receiving. I think this year you could possibly see the first sub 1,000 yard season, but it's within the 850. It would be the bare minimum I would have him statted out at yards.
Yeah.
But I do see touchdowns keeping him up in the upper echelon.
To say that he's finishing at receiver 14, he's just outside of receiver 1. Mm-hmm. He's just outside. So
it is a 3-point differential for me from 12 to 14.
Yeah, it's not a big difference, but it is something to say that he's probably going to lose his 1,000-yard receiving yards this season. He's probably not going to get that.
I still do believe he's probably a double-digit touchdown.
Yeah. They target him too much in the red zone. And that's why he finishes 14, because he has so many touchdown receptions.
Yep. All right, so number 15 for you?
Tyler Lockett.
15 for me is Tyler Lockett.
Really? Man, we're right on pace. Who's 16?
Yeah. We'll get to that in a minute. Anyways, Tyler Lockett is going to be – there's going to be weeks – they finished back-to-back last year, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, like 8-9. I don't think it happens again this year, but he's going to be the same way as DK. He's going to be inconsistent. So if you have a very stable, steady, reliable wide receiver 1 like Tyreek, Stephon, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers, like he'd be a good number 2 to go after because you're not getting DK. So if you want a piece of the Seattle passing game, it's going to have to be Tyler Lockett at the number 2, where when they go off, they're going to go off, but there's going to be games where they get you 6 points and you're going to be hurting.
I will say that I do want a piece of that pie, though. I definitely do.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm willing to pay up for DK. I don't know if I am, because of where his ADP has driven him so high that, you know, to get him in the second round, like the middle of the second, I don't know. There's a lot of other options there that
I'm probably taking a running back instead of DK.
Yeah, and a lot of the other receivers we listed in the top 7, for me at least, I'm probably taking over DK as well. Because I believe that although DK's ceiling is on the moon somewhere, his inconsistency, if he were to, correlate with everything else he's ever done, it's just too inconsistent for me to want to, spend a premium second round pick on.
I feel you. So as you were alluding to, number 16, who do you have at 16?
Robert Woods.
I have Julio Jones.
Ooh, I thought for sure you had Robert Woods.
I have Julio Jones.
Okay. I got Robert Woods that high because of Matt Stafford and because he's going to light the world on fire and the Rams are going to come back to glory, those kinds of things.
I feel that. I have Julio where I have Julio because, as I said, he's going to be literally absorbing all of the Corey Davis stuff. But whereas Corey Davis got 95 targets and 65 receptions, I see Julio Jones getting, like I said, like 105 to 110 targets with 85 to 90 receptions. Julio's never really been a big touchdown guy. He's always been a yardage guy. So therefore, I think in that offense, Julio takes more of the yards. But AJ Brown's no slouch. AJ Brown's right there with him, but AJ Brown has more touchdowns. That's why AJ Brown for me is at 7 and Julio is at 16. I do think that they're both going to be very viable, very usable, and it just Ryan Tannehill for me is very super efficient, and we'll see where he is in my rankings there, but you can kind of see where I have him when you see that I ranked him there.
Yeah, you can see two receivers, receiver 1 and receiver 2.
Yep,
that high. Ryan Tannehill is going to be pretty high for him.
And so 17 for me is Robert Woods. That's who I have at 17.
I have Adam Thielen at 17.
Okay. I can see that. And Robert Woods for me at 17 is literally like what you said. He's perennially, as we've talked about, undervalued as a receiver in drafts. Robert Woods is. Normally he's finishing as a wide receiver, borderline wide receiver 1 right there at the 11, 12, 13 range. And I have him at 17 this year. But yeah, I'm super happy if I can go into a draft, running back, and then Allen Robinson or Amari Cooper, and then like a Tyler Lockett, and you're getting Robert Woods in like the 5th round as like a 3rd wide receiver. It's crazy.
Sometimes 6th.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy to me. So if you could give me, a Zeke and Antonio Gibson with a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then Allen Robinson, Tyler Lockett, and then Robert Woods as my first 6 picks off the board, like that's a pretty good foundation for a team.
I would agree.
So
Robert Woods is the target that I want when I have a inconsistent pick. Yeah.
Yep. I feel that. And so for number 18 for you? Wait, DJ 17 Moore. Was who?
Oh, Adam Thielen.
Okay, talk about that a little bit. Sorry.
I think Adam Thielen is going to finish a little lower than he did last season because his yardage is going to come down, but his touchdowns, I don't think are going to take that big a hit. They will, because what did he have? 16 touchdowns? Or 14 touchdowns?
14
touchdowns. He's not going to have 14 touchdowns again. That's a little high. So say he finishes with 10, 9. That's a reasonable regression. That would put him in as a receiver 2, later receiver 2.
Okay, so 17 is Robert Woods, me. 17 is Adam Thielen for you. 18, you said DJ Moore?
DJ Moore.
Okay. 18 for me is Chris Godwin.
Okay.
You thought about it, didn't you?
No, I was looking at where he was on my list. Oh, okay. I'm like, that makes sense.
So 18 for me is Chris Godwin. He was hurt last year a little bit. And I do believe that Tom Brady is going to be good this year. You don't. I do. They were good last year. So for him having 2 pretty upper echelon wide receiver 2s for fantasy purposes, I could see that. I think the problem is he's on a franchise tag as well, but I think the problem is the reason that both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are wide receiver 2s for me is that they eat into each other. It's not a really good receiver with a really good competent number 2 on the team role type player, but they both eat into each other as where they're both going to demand targets and they're both good, so therefore they both cap each other's ceilings a little bit.
Looking at my list right now, I can already tell there's going to be a couple guys that are left off that we're going to have to talk about.
we're gonna have to talk about. Okay.
Yeah, because we're already at this point. I'm like, I haven't heard a name yet. I'm pretty sure.
So 18 for you is DJ Moore.
Yes.
Okay.
With Sam Darnold coming to town, you're going to have a little more, I think, competent quarterback play than what DJ Moore has had to deal with in the last couple seasons.
Timeout. So everyone wants to think, and I'm going to speak to your point. DJ Moore is in my top 24. We're going to get to him. Just so people think that, oh, Aaron doesn't have him ranked or whatever. Because like you just said, some people names you haven't heard yet. He had over 1,000 yards receiving last year. Robbie Anderson had over 1,000 yards receiving last year. And this is with Teddy Bridgewater. The problem with DJ Moore is he did not get touchdowns last year at all.
But the Panthers didn't get touchdowns last year.
I mean, that is fair. But so for people to be like, DJ Moore sucks or whatever, this, that, and the other, I kept him last year in our keeper league in the 7th round, which would have been good value if he would have scored 6 touchdowns.
If they would have had more competent quarterback play and CMC stays healthy, then he returns value.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah, that's okay. So we're kind of speaking to your point there. I could see it. Like, I mean, honestly, people get recency bias. People get burnt of, oh, he wasn't that good last year. No, he wasn't good because they didn't score last year.
Now, I will say that I am kind of coming out on a limb here with DJ Moore at 18, and he's above a couple other names because you're banking on Sam Darnold not jetting it up.
I feel that.
Not Adam Gase-ing it up. But you know what? Everybody that's left Adam Gase's care before, boy, have they panned out.
Prime example is a quarterback in Tennessee.
Boy, have they panned out.
So, and Kenyon Drake is now relevant too, if you want to talk about that. I mean, not just the quarterback position.
Miles Gaskins is too.
That's fair. So we're on 19, right?
Yes.
18
this is where I have
DJ
Chris
Moore
Godwin.
for you. 19, you have Chris Godwin.
Mm-hmm.
So one spot below me. 19, I have CeeDee Lamb. This is where I have CD.
Okay.
Strictly for everyone's hyping him up. Yes, he is good. I was super mad in the draft. I'm a University of Oklahoma fan. So I was super mad in the draft when the Cowboys drafted him. I was hoping he would fall potentially to a certain team, but as we know, that wouldn't have happened anyways. But I thought anywhere other than Dallas, number one, because Dallas fans kind of get on my nerves. Who really decided that they were America's team other than Dallas themselves and Jerry Jones? But I do like CD as a player. I do think that he runs out of the slot primarily, so therefore he's never really going to have a great cornerback on him. He's going to get his targets, and he's shown that he can catch the deep ball for touchdowns and adjust, and I do believe Dak is a good quarterback for fantasy purposes as well. So that's why I have him at 19. Disagreed?
You already listed everything for Chris Godwin that I would have said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just also say though that Chris Godwin is shown a couple times now that he gets hurt throughout the season. It's a tendency, so just something to monitor. I don't know. I feel like I have Chris Godwin too high now that I think about it, but I'm gonna keep him there because I already put it there. Own what you believe, you know.
Yep. So 20 for you.
Odell Beckham Jr.
Ugh. So 20 for me is DJ Moore.
Okay. So
20 for me is DJ
I think,
Moore.
Look, Odell's not a bad receiver. Odell is worth a lot more than the 20th overall receiver in our rankings episode.
So this is why Mr. Matt Jenkins got mad at me. I'm a firm believer. This is why he said I don't know anything about football.
I think he was talking about me and he just thought it was you.
Is OBJ good? Yes. Is OBJ living off of one reception that he had his rookie season as well? Pretty dang close. I mean, honestly, he's good. I get it. I like OBJ. I like OBJ as a person. I think he's awesome, right? He's cool. Like, OBJ is a dude that I'd be like, hell yeah, I can hang out with you. But as a fantasy player, I don't know, man. I think
you're gonna be surprised this season.
It's the name hype. Honestly, it is the name hype. And
there is some name hype. Yeah,
he hurts Baker in the Cleveland passing game when he's on the field because I feel like Baker feels like OBJ's a big name. He has to throw to him.
See, I remember this actually getting thrown around a little bit. I remember hearing a couple other podcasts that talk about him. They're saying that. And I would like to retort that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, rebuttal that sentiment by saying, do you think that OBJ is like pretty injury prone? I think so.
I do.
I can say that. And that's a risk that you're taking when you draft him. That's a idea that you already have to have in your head. But when he's on the field and he's healthy, he's unstoppable. When he's healthy. He was hurt last season too. Before he tore his ACL.
That. Before he tore his ACL, he didn't do anything really for you except for, what was it, week 3? Where he caught like that 40-yard touchdown bomb and then finally saved your fantasy day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I like OBJ. I hope that he bounces back, and I hope that I'm wrong because I do like him as a player, but I don't see that.
Understandable.
What number are we on? That was 20, right?
21 now.
21. This is where I have Adam Thielen, strictly for like what you said. I think the touchdown regression happens. I think a little bit of yards and reception regression happens just because Justin Jefferson is there now. And that's kind of my take on the 21 spot. Go ahead with your 21.
This is where I have Julio Jones. That low. Isn't that crazy? I feel like I'm crazy for saying it.
I think your whole Tennessee take is
insane, right?
Receiver take of something. I think that you're so jaded by your AJ Brown take that it skewed you on Julio as well.
I don't believe so, and we'll find out. You already listed everything that I would have probably said about Julio too.
Yeah. So 22.
Cooper Kupp.
I also have Cooper Kupp at 22.
That's crazy. I would have never thought that.
Yeah,
I thought I was like, oh, you're gonna have Cooper Kupp here. So go ahead.
The points difference for me for Robert Woods at 17 to Cooper Kupp at 22 is 4 points. So as you can see, the 4 picks in between there also is within that 4-point spread. So all of these guys are really, really close to me. But yeah, as you can see, the 4 points, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, I wouldn't be mad if you took one over the other. You're just basically calling your shot at that point in time.
No, and I think that if you missed on Robert Woods, let's say in the 5th you missed on Robert Woods, I bet Cooper Kupp is still there.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
Or
they're going pretty close.
Yeah, vice versa. I think Cooper Kupp sometimes goes a little higher than Robert Woods. I think Cooper Kupp's ceiling, I think, is probably a little higher than Robert Woods. But I think that Cooper Kupp's floor is a little lower. And because of that, that's why I have him rated. That inconsistency is why I have him rated a little lower, because what I'm basing this off of is like, how viable is he going to be on my fantasy roster? How am I going to be able to use this person? That came into my thought process as well. And Robert Woods, I think, is, and every week you can plug him into the offense or plug him into your roster, and you're fine. Whereas Cooper Kupp, you're going to have a little more hesitancy to do it. Could you? Yeah, sure. But is it going to be the same consistency that Robert Woods is going to have? I don't think so.
I feel that. I agree. 23.
Robbie Anderson. Robbie.
I have Deante Johnson here.
Deante drops Johnson?
Uh-huh.
Funny, because that was one of the names I was thinking of. Robbie Anderson is going to finish as a receiver too, for sure. 100% going to happen. He is getting back a teammate that he was very productive with in Sam Darnold. That's only going to continue. But now he's going to have an option outside of himself, in DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think maybe Sam Darnold takes another step because he doesn't have Adam Gates. It just all kind of adds up.
I agree. So for me, Deante Johnson, we saw it last year. He inherited a drop problem. I think the drop problem kind of goes away. I know I poke fun at him and call him Deante Drops Johnson, but I do think that he doesn't drop as many targets this year. I do believe he's going to be the number 1 in that offense, with Claypool being the second outside receiver and Juju being the slot. So I think it's strictly on hopefully Big Ben's arm can hold up for a little bit, and it will strictly be on the deep ball touchdown potential of Deante Johnson finishing at 23.
Who do you got number 24? Let's round this out.
Robbie Anderson is my 24.
Ooh. CeeDee Lamb is my 24.
Okay.
People are too high on CeeDee Lamb. Chill out. Take it easy.
24 to 19 for me is 6.5 points.
Take it easy.
So I would agree that people are probably too high on CeeDee Lamb, but Robbie Anderson, for me, for all the reasons you stated, will finish as a wide receiver too, and he just happened to fall in the 24 spot for me.
Some honorable mentions, Aaron, because you threw out his name. How does Juju not finish in the top 24?
He finishes at 30 for me. Claypool finishes at 29. It's kind of a Mike Evans, Chris Godwin situation, right? Where one of them's going to get majority in this offense specifically. One of them, which being Deante Johnson, is going to get the more valuable targets, which are going to be the deeper, more than likely touchdown targets on deep balls. But Claypool and Smith-Schuster start to eat into each other at that point in time as the number 2.
Okay. He didn't finish in the top 24 with myself because none of the Pittsburgh receivers will be RB2 viable with Ben Roethlisberger. With Ben Roethlisberger under center.
Okay.
Won't happen.
And then I have OBJ at 27. I forget where you had him at 20.
He is at 20. Yes.
Okay, I have him at 27. I mean, he's close. Honorable mentions as well for me. As you can see, I did not mention him, and I've said that you call him a trash can, and I don't. Kenny Golladay. He's at 26 for me.
You know what's funny? Is when I first wrote the list out, Kenny Golladay made my list.
Yeah,
he made it. He was 24.
Out of spite, you had to move him, didn't you?
And then I was like, oh, you know what? I forgot a couple names. Let me take this name off because it doesn't belong here. One of them doesn't belong, and it's Kenny Golladay.
He's at 26 for me. I mean, he's close, but I don't.
He's at like 50 for me.
As you can see, him being 26 kind of is the reason why I have Saquon at 7. You had Saquon at 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's close for me there. But I don't have faith in Daniel Jones. I mean, he's a better pick than Dwayne Haskins was in the draft, by all means. It's clearly shown itself. But granted, I know all he had to work with last year was Sterling Shepard, but like, does it? It's not going to be that viable. The Daniel Jones targets aren't going to be that valuable unless your name's Saquon.
They're not as nice.
The backfield. Yeah, so
they're not as nice.
I want to ask Jamar Chase. Everyone's taking shots on Jamar Chase.
I'd only take a shot on him because he fell late to me, but outside of that, I don't know what that offense is going to be. There's a lot of mouths to feed for basically a rookie quarterback. You can say he's not, but I mean, he missed half the season. Now, do I like Joe Burrow? Hell yeah. Do I want a piece of Joe Burrow? Hell yeah. But
you're not going to like my Joe Burrow quarterback rank.
Am I willing to take my shot on Jamar Chase as my receiver 2? No.
Me neither. Because he's ranked as a receiver 3 for me.
Yeah, there's too many other options that I think are going to be more consistent, that I trust more to take a gamble on, really, because that's all it is. You're taking gambles. Uh-huh. You're gambling on a guy, and their odds are this ranking. That's how I view it. You know. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Cortland Sutton.
Right outside the top 24.
I was about to say, was he close for you?
Oh yeah, he was like 26.
Okay. He's 28.
I really think, yeah, Cortland Sutton's going to be something good this season.
He's 28 for me strictly because I think that they let Drew Lock win the quarterback controversy, and then after week 2, they realized, all right, we got to play Teddy now.
I will say, if it's Teddy Bridgewater, he supported two 1,000-yard receivers.
That's what I'm saying. So Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy could be sneaky values in like 6, 7, 8 round. But yeah, and then I have the 2 San Francisco 49ers receivers
in the 30s.
They are in the 30s, and they're back-to-back for me. at
Yeah.
at 31 and 32.
They're going to have boom games, each one of them, and we're talking about Ayuk and Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
They're going to have boom games.
So
but
people, go ahead. Sorry, not to cut you off.
they're not the receiver one in that on that team. They're not the first option.
So
It's
people
Kittle.
are gonna think like, oh man, from wide receiver, like say for example, wide receiver 24 to wide receiver 48. People need to realize that that's only like a touchdown point difference, a touchdown and some yards point difference. There's not a whole lot of points difference per game.
And, all of our rankings are based off a half point as well.
Yeah. So, like, for example, from wide receiver 24 to wide receiver 36, it's like a 24 point difference total, but that's only a little bit over a point a game. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
to put in perspective, people are like, why do you have this person all the way down here? Why do you have, Deebo and Brandon Ayuk at 31 and 32? Like, they're not going to finish there. It's literally like a reception and 5 yards, 6 yards per game difference. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. But when you start getting into these positions.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, like, we're going to save this list. Obviously, it's going to be on the YouTube channel, but we're going to keep this list on the side. And at the end of the season, we're going to talk about it. We're going to bring this up as another video we're going to talk about at the end of the season. And
yeah,
I want to see how close we were. I want to see how realistically close we actually got.
I feel that. So any other honorable mentions for you?
I don't think so. Maybe Jamison Crowder. Maybe he finishes as receiver 2.
I don't have him anywhere close.
So. I don't think so.
I don't have any of the Jets receivers anywhere close.
No. I kept thinking of Jets receivers. I'm like, you know what? There's got to be one guy on that team that can finish as a receiver 2, that back end receiver 2, and I just couldn't get myself to do it.
Nope. I couldn't. They just physically couldn't reach their point either.
Could Henry Ruggs find himself that way? Yes, he could. Henry Ruggs is probably
ceiling.
Like 28 for me right now.
He's got a high ceiling, but very, very low floor.
29, maybe a little lower. Like because I didn't stat out all the way down to like 50. Really, I didn't. Except for Kenny Galladay, he's all the way down to 50. But
stop it.
I would say Henry Ruggs has a chance just because if he does take the step, if he does become a more viable route running option plus his deep threat ability, he's only going to go way up from there. You know what I mean? Like that offense is only going to get better because of it. So another name to kind of maybe have in mind. Maybe. Yep. Trying to think anybody else. Not really. Amari Rodgers could.
I mean, yeah, Aaron Rodgers has been able to do 2 viable receiving options, but I don't think a rookie will be able to. I do have high hopes for him as a Green Bay fan, but as a rookie, I don't see he's that much.
He's probably like 35, probably for me.
Okay, he's probably in the 40s for me.
Okay, I have him higher than Jamar Chase.
No, I don't. But we'll end that one on a cliffhanger
we'll stop right there
and let people kind of finish the argument for us in the comments if you want. Please keep it nice and PG and don't be bashing people. Keep it strictly to the football talk. But as always, guys, stop it. Please like, subscribe, comment, leave a comment, hit the notification bell. Sorry, I'm stumbling through this one.
We're getting
but that way when we go live, because there will be next week the quarterback rankings video, and everyone's going to want to stick around for that because Ray hates Tom Brady and I'm not as low on him. So anything else, Ray?
No, sir.
All right. Well, until next time, guys, we will see you later.